You need a tea or coffee or anything?
I'm all right, thank you very much, yes. This is meant to be the stream. Oh yeah, here it is. There may be a lag, there may well be a little bit of a delay. And it depends, I suppose, on how good the network connection is.
Yeah, it is thinking. But the moment when you see the background, you can see in your head.
You can see me?
Yeah, yeah, from here.
Okay. And now I've got the volume down there, of course, but yeah, I should be far enough away so not to get too much feedback. Oh, okay, this is a testing. Okay. Okay. It doesn't seem the stream is working. Is it behind the picture though?
Right.
Streaming, but well, I've got the recording. It may not work, the webcast. But I've got the recording. It may not work, the webcast. Hello, it seems to be. We'll give it a try. Hello, welcome. Hello.
We started listening earlier.
You started listening earlier?
Listening to the introduction.
Did you really?
Good. Yeah, it's really good.
What do we do the podcast?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Hello, very good to meet you. Hello. Do come in and have a seat. We're going to try and make the room a little bit warmer. Say again? Oh, it is, yes. Sorry?
Leave it running.
Yeah, leave it running. And if the webcast zonks out, then we'll just do it without the webcast. We'll certainly keep recording. Yeah.
It is current.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming. Yes. And you must have told Veronica about it because she tweeted it. Yes, yeah.
Because it's pretty weird. It's like I said, coincidence.
Hello. Hello, Kelly. How are you? Lovely to see you.
So glad to be here.
So lovely to see you. Hello.
This is Martine.
Hello, welcome. Hello.
Hello,
Graham.
Sebastian.
Tell me your name again?
Martine.
Martine. This is my partner, Raoul. Kelly, whom I told you about. Kelly, Raoul, Martine.
It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. My name's Martine.
Hi, I'm Graham.
Do make yourself comfortable, take a seat. It's an informal setting, as you can see, but yeah, there are loos down at the back, and we'll start in 10 minutes on time or so, yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, with a bit of trepidation, but yeah.
I bet. So you've done so many other presentations.
Yeah, it's not the first time I'm presenting something, that's true, yes. Yeah, but it's the first time I'm attempting to deliver the first 77 sonnets of Shakespeare's by heart. It's
Wow, I didn't realize you were doing it by heart.
yeah, that's the challenge, if you like, yes.
Well, if it'll help you at all, I don't know any of them.
Exactly,
Skipped
yeah.
a word or two or added your own phrase. I never
Exactly,
know.
you never know. So some people probably would, yeah.
Yeah, Graham might.
Yeah, make yourselves comfortable. Yes. Hello, how are you? Great to see you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Very, very well. And yourself?
Yeah, not bad. A bit tired, but there you
It's
go.
all right. Oh well, this will send you in a nice calm.
Rejuvenate me.
Yeah, or maybe it will rejuvenate you. Yes.
How long did you take to learn it?
Oh, when did I start? I started a bit over a year ago, I think. Is it more than a year? Is it coming up? It's about
Was
a bit
it a
more than a year.
lockdown thing? Lockdown hobby?
It's before I started learning them before I did the podcast. And I started the podcast in 2022, not last year, the year before. No.
No.
Yeah, because I'm up to 81 episodes or something.
Yes,
So yeah.
September 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's registered.
So yeah.
Are you
I've had
nervous?
a little bit. Yeah, one always is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy, memorizing it all. Yeah, you like it enough to know it by heart.
Of course, you have to love it in order to want to learn it. Yes. Yes.
When did it start? Like, how did it start?
Oh my God, there's a whole story behind this. I first really fell in love with them back in 2013 when a friend, sort of an acquaintance really, a friend on Facebook started posting a sonnet every day for 154 days in the run-up to Christmas, because he said, I've just realised it's 154 days until Christmas, so I'll be posting a sonnet every day. And this became the highlight of my day. I started reading them every day and reading the notes, and then I thought, I can detect a story here. And so I then wrote a play about them, and then it was Tom, who I'm hoping will come, he said he was going to come, who, when he got married, he was the actor in the play, and when he got married, he invited me to read a sonnet at his wedding, and my love was reignited, and then I started learning that.
Oh, okay, interesting. I don't know much about the sonnets, but I've done Macbeth. I've done Macbeth, and I've done Macbeth for O-levels, and Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Apparently Julius Caesar is very good, but I don't
Yes,
know.
it is. It certainly is, yes.
That's all I know about Shakespeare. But, there you go. Sorry York couldn't come.
That's all right, he's in Hong Kong, I believe, isn't he? Yeah.
He's back on Saturday and then off again on Sunday.
All right, yes.
Yes.
Right, a second. Is the door going to be open? Because at least one person said, Joan said she might be a bit late. Will she be able to get in? Or will you have to keep an eye out for her?
Normally, the church will ask for the door to be locked because we get straight people coming in and get things finished. You'd be interrupted because normally they'll press the bell in here, and you could hear. But if you, I can sit out here.
Well, no, because I don't know exactly when she'll be here, or if so. But she's in choir, so she knows to ring the bell if she arrives.
Oh, right, yeah. I still expect it, so you can hear it. As long as it doesn't disrupt your...
No, I will handle it. I'll deal with it.
Maybe I'll go to the toilet while it's this. There's some Shakespeare stuff.
So this is some budget for the first line of sonnets.
That will happen, yeah. Because and it may come and go a bit as well. Well, I know. More friends. Hello, Hillary. Hello, lovely to see you. How are you? Good evening, hello. Sebastian, very good to meet you.
Nazam.
Nazam, hello, very good to meet you.
Nazar, this is Sebastian. And this is Raoul.
Hello, Raoul.
Peter, hello. Lovely to see you.
Great to see you. All the Sebastian.
I'm the Sebastian.
This is Raoul, Sebastian's partner. This is my friend Alan from Bangkok. Oh, and this is Nazar. That I told you about. This is him.
Do come in, make yourself comfortable. Yeah, we'll start any moment. Well, in 3 minutes, really, thereabouts. It's a lovely place.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We worked here before.
We have choir practice here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we come here every Monday.
Acoustic's good.
Yeah, they're a bit echoey, but they're good. They support you, so yeah.
It's sort of modern, isn't it?
Yeah,
I bought the book.
good.
Showing
You can prompt me if I need it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, and help yourself to badges, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
3 minute recording. I'm going to start. Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here, and hello to anyone who happens to be watching online. We are doing a live webcast, and we're also recording the event, so if you don't want to be on camera, don't stand up and join me here, then you will not be filmed or recorded or webcast. To anybody who's watching live on the webcast, I don't know how good this stream really is, but if the quality is just unendurable, then all is not lost. We are recording this, and the high definition recording will also go out online in due course. But thank you for joining us. I can talk about William Shakespeare's sonnets for hours, quite literally, and I do. There are now more than 30 hours worth of podcast available at sonnetcast.com, and so I will keep this extremely brief. I want to say only a few very, very short things so as to orientate you a little bit in what I'm doing. There are 154 sonnets published in the original collection, if you like, published in 1609 by Thomas Thorpe in London. We don't know to what extent William Shakespeare was involved in the publication, whether he wanted them published or not. We only know we have the sonnets, and the words are pretty much intact, almost entirely. In fact, there are maybe a couple of lines missing and some mistakes that are hotly debated. Of these 154 sonnets, The first 126 are generally accepted to be either addressed directly to, or written for, or about, or written in the context of a young man. We don't know who this young man is. There are huge debates about who this might be, but what there is a sort of a consensus, if that exists in the scholarly world, then it is that it is very likely to be a young nobleman. We know that he's beautiful because he's told this many times in the sonnets. He's very likely to be very rich, very powerful, but we don't know who it is. And even that's debated. The first 17 sonnets do absolutely nothing other than tell a young man to get married and have children. They're therefore known as the procreation sonnets. They may be addressed to the same person, we don't know. But so if you think this is a bit of a slow burner, you know, when is the famous one going to come? The first famous sonnet is sonnet 18. The whole build up to it is quite slow. It's really, Shakespeare tries various registers, and then towards the end of the 17, you realize it's becoming a bit more flirtatious. Possibly it is when the relationship changes. Then we're in the body proper of the Fair Youth sonnet, and there what you'll see is not so much a story, there's no coherent story, but there are waveforms, there are motifs, and there are themes, if you like. So you will see there's kind of a romance blossoming, or an adoration, an admiration. Then there's bad weather coming along when the young man does nothing other than have a relationship with William Shakespeare's own mistress. So the relationship becomes very complex, very postmodern, triangular briefly. You will hear Shakespeare talking about being away from home, missing his young friend, his lover, being back together. There's the joy of a reunion, there's the adoration of a person whom one loves. Then there's a bit of sarcasm when Shakespeare realizes that he's maybe not as important to his young man as he thinks he is. And then sort of from 60 onwards, tellingly from 60, which is of course the number of minutes in an hour, so people debate at great length whether there's a meaning to this. But about from 60 onwards, there are these beautiful reflection on time, on age, on the age difference between them. So that's kind of an overview a bit. And then 77, the midpoint of the collection, is an unusual sonnet because it appears to accompany Book of Commonplaces. It appears to accompany a book of empty pages in which Shakespeare encourages the young man to note down quotes and observations and things that he learns about the world. And that's where I'll then stop, because I've only learned, I've learned the first 89 so far. But this is a half Sonnethon, so I'm doing the first half of the published sequence. That's almost all I want to say, except I have to give what today we would call a trigger warning, I suppose. There is a word that appears right in the first sonnet, it appears again in the fourth one, and then once later, which to our ears sounds like a horrendous racial slur. It isn't. When Shakespeare says niggard with a D at the end, or niggardly, he means miser. It means nothing other than that. It is etymologically and semantically completely unrelated to the word that we might hear. And so do not think that Shakespeare is a raging racist. He's nothing of the sort. Thank you for being here. We were going to have a member of the charity I'm supporting. I'm doing this in aid of a charity, Arts for Dementia. They're a small charity that do wonderful work with people who live with this very challenging condition. And so I know some of you have already very generously donated. I appreciate this very much, so do the charity. They are small, they are grateful for everything that they receive. And so if you want to donate later in cash, I can accept cards, or you can go online. Please do so. It's not for me, it is for people who live with dementia. That's it from me. The next voice you'll hear is still my voice, but I hope you will recognize in this not me, but our William Shakespeare, whose birthday we celebrate today, although we don't know whether he was actually born on the 23rd, but he certainly died on the 23rd of April. And so thank you for sharing this with me. These are the first 77 of William Shakespeare's sonnets. I don't remember the first line of the first sonnet of the. This is ridiculous. This is why I brought this. I've been practicing these for many, many months, but here we go. This was bound to happen. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feed'st thy light's flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Thou, that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud bury'st thy content, and tender churl makest waste in niggarding. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due by the grave and thee. When 40 winters shall besiege thy brow, and dig deep trenches in thy beauty's field, thy youth's proud livery, so gazed on now, will be a tattered weed of small worth held. Then, being asked where all thy beauty lies, where all the treasure of thy lusty days, to say within thine own deep sunken eyes were an all-eating shame and thriftless praise. How much more praise deserved thy beauty's use, if thou couldst answer, this fair child of mine shall sum my count and make my old excuse, proving his beauty by succession thine. This were to be new made when thou art old, and see thy blood warm when thou feelst it cold. Look in thy glass, and tell the face thou viewest, now is the time that face should form another, whose fresh repair, if now thou not renewest, thou dost beguile the world, unbless some mother. For where is she so fair, whose uneared womb disdains the tillage of thy husbandry? Or who is he so fond will be the tomb of his self-love to stop posterity? Thou art thy mother's glass, and she in thee calls back the lovely April of her prime. So thou through windows of thine age shalt see, despite of wrinkles, this thy golden time. But if thou live remembered not to be, die single, and thine image dies with thee. Unthrifty loveliness, why dost thou spend upon thyself thy beauty's legacy? Nature's bequest gives nothing but doth lend, and being frank, she lends to those are free. Then, beauteous niggard, why dost thou abuse the beauteous largesse in thee to give? Profitless usurer, why dost thou use so great a sum of sums, yet canst not live? For having traffic with thyself alone, thou of thyself, thy sweet self, dost deceive. Then how, when nature calls thee to be gone, what acceptable audit canst thou leave? Thy unused beauty must be tombed with thee, which used lives, the executor to be. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will play the tyrants to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. For never-resting time leads summer on to hideous winter, and confounds him there, subject with frost and lusty leaves quite gone, beauty all snowed and bareness everywhere. Then were not summer's distillation left, a liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor it, nor no remembrance what it was. But flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, lease but their show, their substance still lives sweet. Then let not winter's ragged hand deface in thee thy summer ere thou be distilled. Make sweet some vial, treasure thou some place with beauty's treasure, ere it be self-killed. That use is not forbidden usury, which happies those that pay the willing loan. That's for thyself to breed another thee, or 10 times happier were it 10 for 1. If 10 of thine 10 times refigured thee, then what could death do if thou shouldst depart, leaving thee living in posterity? Be not self-willed, for thou art much too fair to be death's conquest and make worms thine heir. Lo, in the Orient, when the gracious light lifts up his burning head, each under eye pays homage to his new appearing sight, serving with looks his sacred majesty, and having climbed the steep up Henley hill, resembling strong youth in his middle age, mortal looks adore his beauty still, tending on his golden pilgrimage. But when from highmost pitch with weary car, like feeble age he reeleth from the day, the eyes for duteous now converted are from his tract and looking away. So thou, thyself outgoing in thy noon, unlooked undiest, unless thou get a son. Music to hear. Why hearest thou music sadly? Sweets with sweets warm not. Joy delights in joy. Why hast thou that which thou receivest not gladly, or else received with pleasure thine annoy? If the true concord of well-tuned sounds by unions married do offend thine ear, they do but sweetly chide thee who confounds in singleness the parts that thou shouldst bear. Mark how one string, sweet husband to another, strikes each in each by mutual ordering, resembling sire and child and happy mother, who all in one pleasing note do sing, whose speechless song, being many seeming one, sings this to thee: thou single wilt prove none. Is it for fear to wet a widow's eye, that thou consumest thyself in single life? Ah, if thou issueless shalt hap to die, the world will wail thee like a makeless wife. The world will be thy widow, and still weep that thou no form of thee hast left behind, when every private widow well may keep by children's eyes her husband's shape in mind. Look, what an unthrift in the world doth spend, shifts but his place, for still the world enjoys it. But beauty's waste hath in the world an end, and kept unused, the user so destroys it. No love towards others in that bosom sits, but on himself such murderous shame commits. As fast as thou shalt wane, so fast thou growest in one of thine from that which thou partest. And that fresh blood which youngly thou bestowest, thou mayst call thine when thou from youth convertest. Herein lives wisdom, beauty, and increase, without this folly, age, and cold decay. If all were minded so, the times should cease, and 80 years would make the world away. Let those whom nature hath not made forestall, harsh, featureless, And rude, barrenly perish. Look, whom she best endowed, she gave them all, which bounteous gift thou shouldst in bounty cherish. She carved thee for her seal, and meant thereby thou shouldst print more, not let that copy die. When I do count the clock that tells the time, and see the brave day sunk in hideous night, when I behold the violet past prime, and sable curls all silvered all with white, when lofty trees I see, barren of leaves, which erst from heat did canopy the herd, and summer's green all girded up in sheaves, borne on the bier with white and bristly beard. Then of thy beauty do I question make, that thou among the wastes of time must go, since sweets and beauties do themselves forsake, and die as fast as they see others grow, and nothing gainst thy side can make defence save breed to brave him when he takes thee hence. Ah, that you were yourself, but love you are no longer yours, than you yourself here live. Against this coming end you should prepare, and your sweet semblance to some other give. So should that beauty which you hold in lease find no determination. Then you were yourself again after yourself's decease, when your sweet issue, your sweet form should bear. Who lets so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry in honour might uphold against the stormy gusts of winter's day and barren rage of death's eternal cold? Oh, none but unthrifts. Dear, my love, you know you had a father. Let your son say so. Not from the stars do I my judgment look, and yet methinks I have astronomy, but not to tell of good or evil luck, of plagues, of dearth, or seasons' quality. Nor can I fortune to brief minutes tell, pointing to each thunder, rain, and wind, or say with princes if it shall go well, by oft predict that I in heaven find. But from thine eyes my knowledge I derive, and constant stars, in them I read such art as truth and beauty shall together thrive, if from thyself to store thou wouldst convert. Or else of thee this I prognosticate, thy end is truth's and beauty's doom and date. When I consider everything that grows, holds in perfection but a little moment, that this huge stage presenteth naught but shows, whereon the stars in secret influence comment, when I perceive that men as plants increase, cheered and checked e'en by the self-same sky, vaunt in their youthful sap, at height decrease, and wear their brave state out of memory. Then the conceit of this inconstant stay sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay to change your day of youth to sullied night. And all in war with time for love of you, as he takes from you, I engraft you new. But wherefore do not you a mightier way make war upon this bloody tyrant time, and fortify yourself in your decay with means more blessed than my barren rhyme? Now stand you on the top of happy hours, and many maiden gardens yet unset, with virtuous wish would bear your living flowers, much liker than your painted counterfeit. So should the lines of life, that life repair, which this time's pencil or my pupil pen, neither in inward worth nor outward fair, can make you live yourself in eyes of men. To give away yourself keeps yourself still, and you must live, drawn by your own sweet skill. Who will believe my verse in time to come, if it were filled with your most high deserts? And yet, heaven knows, it is but as a tomb which hides your life and shows not half your parts. If I could write the beauty of your eyes, and in fresh numbers number all your graces, the age to come would say, this poet lies, such heavenly touch as ne'er touched earthly faces. So should my papers, yellowed with their age, be scorned, like old men of less truth than tongue, and your true rights be termed a poet's rage, or stretched metre of an antique song. But were some child of yours alive that time, you should live twice, in it and in my rhyme. I compare thee to a summer's day. Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is gold complexion dimmed. And every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance, or nature's changing course, untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death drag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. Devouring time, blunt thou the lion's paws, and make the earth devour her own sweet brood. Duck the keen teeth from the fierce tiger's jaws, and burn the long-lived phoenix in her blood. Make sad and sorry seasons as thou fleet'st, and do whate'er thou wilt, swift-footed time, to the wide world and all her fading sweets. But I forbid thee one most heinous crime. O carve not with thy hours my love's fair brow, nor draw no lines there with thine antique pen, him in thy course untainted to allow, for beauty's pattern to succeeding men. Yet do thy worst, old time, despite thy wrong, my love shall in my verse ever live young. A woman's face, with nature's own hand painted, hast thou, the master mistress of my passion. A woman's gentle heart, though not acquainted with shifting change, as is false women's fashion. An eye more bright than theirs, less false in rolling, gilding the object whereupon it gazeth. A man in hue, all hues in his controlling, who steals men's eyes and women's souls amazeth. And for a woman wert thou first created, till nature, as she wrought thee, fell a doting, and by addition me of thee defeated, by adding one thing to my purpose, nothing. But since she pricked thee out for women's pleasure, mine be thy love, and thy love's use, their treasure. So is it not with me, as with that muse, stirred by a painted beauty to his verse, who hen itself for ornament doth use, and every fair with his fair doth rehearse, making a couplement of proud compare, with sun and moon and earth and seas rich, and with April's first-born flowers, and all things rare that heaven's air in this huge rondure hems. O let me, true in love, but truly right, and then believe me, my love is as fair as any mother's child, though not so bright as those gold candles fixed in heaven's air. Let them say more that like of hearsay, well, I will not praise that purpose not to sell. My glass shall not persuade me I am old, so long as youth and thou are of one day. But when in thee time's far as I behold, then look I death my days should expiate. For all that beauty that doth cover thee is but the seemly raiment of my heart, which in thy breast doth live, as thine in me. How can I then be older than thou art? O therefore, love, be of thyself so wary, as I, not for myself, but for thee will bend my heart, which I will keep so chary as tender nurse her babe from faring ill. Presume not on thy heart when mine is slain. Thou gavest me thine, not to give back again. As an unperfect actor on the stage, who with his fear is put beside his part, or some fierce thing replete with too much rage, whose strength abundance weakens his own heart, so I, for fear of trust, forget to say the perfect ceremony of love's rites, and in mine own love's strength seem to decay, or charged with burden of mine own love's might. Oh, let my books then be the eloquence, and dumb presagers of my speaking breast, who plead for love and look for recompense, more than that tongue hath more expressed. O learn to read what silent love hath writ, to hear with eyes belongs to love's fine wit. Mine eye hath played the painter, and hath stelled thy beauty's form in table of my heart. My body is the frame wherein 'tis held, and perspective it is best painter's art, for through the painter must you see his skill to find where your true image pictured lies, which in my bosom's shop is hanging still, that hath his windows glazed with thine eyes. Now see what good turns eyes for eyes have done. Mine eye hath drawn thy shape, and thine for me are windows to my breast, where through the sun delights to peep, therein to gaze on thee. Yet eyes this cunning want to grace their arts. They draw but what they see, know not the heart. Let those who are in favour with their stars of public honour and proud titles boast, whilst I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, unlooked for joy in that I honour most. Great princes' favourites their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride lies buried, for at a frown they in their glory die. The painful warrior, famous for fight, after 1,000 victories once foiled, is from the book of honour razed quite, and all the rest forgot for which he toiled. Then happy I, that love and am beloved, where I may not remove, nor be removed. Lord of my love, to whom in vassalage thy merit hath my duty strongly knit. To thee I send this written embassy to witness duty, not to show might. A duty so great as wit, so poor as mine, may make seem bare in wanting words to show it. But I hope some good conceit of thine in thy soul's thought, all naked, will bestow it, till whatsoever star that guide my moving points on me graciously with fair aspect, and puts apparel on my tattered loving, to show me worthy of thy sweet respect. Then may I dare to boast how I do love thee, till then not show my head where thou mayst prove me. Weary with toil, I haste me to my bed, the dear repose for limbs with travel tired. But then begins a journey in my head to work my mind when body's works expired. For then my thoughts from far where I abide intend a zealous pilgrimage to thee, and keep my drooping eyelids open wide, looking on darkness which the blind do see, save that my soul's imaginary sight presents thy shadow to my sightless view, which like a jewel hung in ghastly night makes black night beauteous and her old face new. Lo, so by day my limbs, by night my mind, for thee and for myself no quiet find. How can I then return in happy plight, that am debarred the benefit of rest, when day's oppression is not eased by night, but day by night and night by day oppressed, and both, though and each though enemies to either's reign, do in consent shake hands to torture me, the one by toil, the other to complain how far I toil, still farther off from thee. I tell the day to please him, thou art bright and dost in grace, when clouds do not the hem. So flatter I the swart-complexioned night, when sparkling stars twine not, thou gild thee. But day doth daily draw my sorrows longer, and night doth nightly make grief's length seem stronger. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's soap, with what I most enjoy, contented least. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. When to the sessions of sweet silent thought I summon up remembrance of things past, I sigh lack of many a thing I sought, and with old woes new wail my dear time's waste. Then can I drown an eye unused to flow for precious friends hid in death's stateless night, and weep afresh love's long since cancelled woe, and moan the expense of many a vanished sight. Then can I grieve at grievances foregone, and heavily from woe to woe tell all the sad account of moon, which I knew pay, as if not paid before. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored, and sorrows end. Thy bosom is endeared with all hearts, which I by lacking have supposed dead, and there reigns love and all love's loving heart, and all those friends which I thought buried. How many are holy and obsequious tear their religious love stole from mine eye, as interest of the dead which now appear, but things removed that hidden in thee lie. Thou art the grave where buried love doth live, hung with the trophies of my lovers gone, who all their parts of me to thee did give. That due of many now is thine alone. Their images I loved I view in thee, and thou, all they, hast all the all of me. If thou survive my well-contented day, when that eternal death my bones with dust shall cover, and shalt by fortune once more resurvey these poor rude lines of thy deceased lover, compare them with the bettering of the time, and though they be outstripped by every pen, reserve them for my love, not for their rhyme, exceeded by the height of happier men. O then vouchsafe me but this loving thought, had my friend's muse grown with this growing age, a dearer birth than this his love had brought, to march in ranks of better equipage. But since he died, and poets better prove, theirs for their style I'll read, his for his love. Full many a glorious morning have I seen, flatter the mountain tops with sovereign eye, kissing with golden face the meadows green, gilding pale streams with heavenly alchemy, anon permit the basest clouds to ride with ugly wrack on his celestial face, and from the forlorn world his visage hide, stealing unseen to west with his disgrace. E'en so, my sun one early morn did shine, with all triumphant splendour on my brow. But out, alack, he was but 1 hour mine. The region cloud hath masked him from me now. Yet him for this my love no whit disdaineth. Sons of the world may stain when heaven's sun staineth. Why didst thou promise such a beauty to make me travel forth without my crown? To let base clouds o'ertake me in my way, hiding thy bravery in their rotten smoke? It is not enough that through the cloud thou brave by the rain on my storm-beaten face, for no man well of such a salve can speak, that heals the wound and cures not the disgrace. Nor can thy fame give physic to my grief, though thou repent it, I have still the loss. The friend the sorrow lends, but weak relief to him that bears the strong offence's cross. Ah, but those tears are pearl that thy love sheds. And they are rich and ransom all ill deeds. No more be grieved at that which thou hast done. Roses have thorns, and silver fountains mud. Clouds and eclipses stain both moon and sun, and loathsome canker lives in sweetest bud. All men make fools, and even I in this, authorizing thy trespass with care, myself corrupting, sounding by amiss, accusing thy sins more than the sins are, for to thy sensual fault I bring incense. Thy adverse party is thy advocate, and gainst myself a lawful plea commence. Such civil war is in my love and hate, that I an accessory needs must be to that sweet thief which hourly robs from me. Let me confess that we two must be twain, although our undivided loves are one, so shall those blots that do with me remain, without thy help, by me born alone. In our two loves there is but one respect, though in our lives a separable spite, which, though it ought not love's sole effect, yet doth it steal sweet hours from love's delight. I may not evermore acknowledge thee, lest my bewailed guilt should do thee shame, nor thou with public kindness honour me, unless thou take that honour from thy name. But do not so. I love thee in such sort, as thou, being mine, mine is thy good report. As a decrepit father takes delight to see his active child do deeds of youth, so I, made lame by fortune's dearest spite, take all my comfort of thy worth and truth. For whether beauty, birth, or wealth, or wit, or any of these all, or more, entitled in thy heart to crown it sit, I make my love engrafted to this door, so then I am not lame, poor, nor despised, whilst that this shadow doth such substance give, that I in thy abundance am sufficed, by a part of all thy glory live. Think what is best, that best I wish in thee, this wish I have, then 10 times happy me. How can my muse one subject to invent while thou dost breathe, that pour'st into my verse thine own sweet argument, too excellent for every vulgar paper to rehearse? Oh, give thyself the thanks, if aught in me worthy perusal stand against thy sight. For who's so dumb that cannot write to thee, when thou thyself dost give invention light? Be thou the 10th muse, 10 times more in worth than those old 9 which rhymers invocate, and he that calls on thee, let him bring forth eternal numbers to outlive long dead. If my slight muse do please these curious days, the pain be mine, but thine shall be the praise. Oh, how thy praise with manners, how thy worth with manners may I sing, and thou art all the better part of me. What mine own praise to mine own self bring, and what is but mine own when I praise thee? Even for this let us divided live, and our dear love lose name of single one, that by this separation I may give that due to thee which thou deservest alone. O absence, What a torment wouldst thou prove, were it not thrice our leisure gave sweet leave to entertain the time with thoughts of love, which time and thoughts so sweetly dost deceive, and that thou teachest how to make one twain, by praising him here that doth hence remain. Take all, my love, take them all. What hast thou then more than thou hadst before? No love I love, that thou mayst true love go. Mine was thine before thou hadst this more. Then if for my love thou my love receivest, I cannot blame thee for my love thou usest, and yet be blamed if thou thyself deceivest by wilful taste of what thyself refusest. I do forgive thy robbery, gentle thief, although thou steal all my poverty. And yet love knows it is a greater grief to bear love's wrong than hate's known injury. Lascivious grace, in whom all ill well shows, kill me with spites, yet we must not be foes. Those pretty wrongs which liberty commits, and I am sometime absent from thy heart, thy beauty and thy years full well befits, for still temptation follows where thou art. Gentle thou art, and therefore to be won. Beauteous thou art, therefore to be assailed. And when a woman woos, what woman's son will sourly leave her till he hath prevailed? Ay me, and yet thou mightst my seat forbear, and chide thy beauty and thy straying youth, who lead thee in their riot even there where thou art forced to break a twofold truth, hers by thy beauty tempting her to thee, thine by thy beauty being false to me. That thou hast her, it is not all my grief, and yet maybe said after her dearly, that she hath thee is of my wailing chief, a loss in love that touches me more nearly. Loving offenders, thus will I excuse ye. Thou dost love her, because thou knowest I love her. And for my sake, e'en so doth she abuse me, suffering my friend, for my sake to approve her. When I lose thee, my loss is my love's gain, and losing her, my friend hath found that loss. Both find each other, and I lose both twain, and both for my sake lay on me this cross. But here's the joy, my friend and I are one. Sweet flattery, then she loves but me alone. When most I wink, then do mine eyes best see. For all the day they view things unrespected, but when I sleep in dreams they look on thee, and darkly bright are bright in dark directed. And thou, whose shadow shadows doth make bright, how would thy shadow's form happy show to the clear day with thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so? How would I say thine eyes be blessed made by looking on thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair imperfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay? All days are nights to see till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams do show thee me. If the dull substance of my flesh were thought, injurious distance shuts up my way, for then despite of space I would be brought from limits far remote where thou dost stay. No matter then, although my foot did stand upon the farthest earth removed from thee, for no thought can jump both sea and land as soon as think the place he would be. But thought kills me, I am not thought, to leap large lengths of miles when thou art gone. But that so much of earth and water wrought, I must attend time's leisure with my moan, receiving naught by elements so slow, but heavy tears, badges of either's woe. The other two, slight air and purging fire, are both with thee wherever I abide. The first my thought, the other my desire, these present absent with swift motion slide. For when these quicker elements are gone, in tender embassy of love to thee, my life, being made of four, with two alone, sinks down to earth, oppressed with melancholy, until life's composition be recured by those swift messengers returned from thee, who even but now come back again short of thy path, recounting it to me. This told I joy, then no longer glad, I sent them back again, and straight grow sad. Mine eye and heart are at mortal war, how to divide the conquest of thy sight. Mine eye, my heart, thy picture sight would bar, my heart, mine eye, the freedom of that right. My heart doth plead that thou in him dost lie, a closet pierced with crystal eyes. But the defendant doth that plead in eye, and says, in him thy fair appearance lies. To cite this title is impaneled quest of thoughts, all tenants to the heart, and by that verdict is determined the clear eyes mighty and clear heart part as thus. Mine eye's due is thy outward part, and my heart's right thy inward love of heart. Betwixt mine eye and heart a league is took, and each doth good turns now unto the other. When that mine heart is famished, when that my eye is famished for a look, or heart in love with sighs himself doth smother, with my last picture then my eye doth feast, and to the painted banquets my heart. Another time mine eye is my heart's guest, and in his thoughts of love doth share a part. So either by thy picture or my love, thyself away are present still with me, for thou not farther than my thoughts canst move, and I am still with them, and they with thee. Or if they sleep, my picture in thy sight, the picture in thy sight awakes my heart to hearts and eyes' delight. How careful was I when I took my way, each trifle under truest bars to thrust, that to my use it might unused stay from hands of falsehood in sure ward of trust. But thou, to whom my jewels trifles are, most worthy comfort, now my greatest grief, my best of dearest, now mine only care, art left the prey of every vulgar thief. Thee have I not locked up in any chest, save where thou art not, though I feel thou art, within the gentle clover of my breast, from whence at pleasure thou mayst come and part. And even thence thou wilt be stolen, I fear, for truth proves thievish for a prize so dear. Against that time, if ever that time come, when I shall see thee frown on my defects, when as thy love hath cast his utmost sum, called to that audit by advised respects, against that time when thou shalt stranger pass, and scarcely greet me with that sun, thine eye, when love converted from the thing it was, shall reason find settled gravity. Against that time do I ensconce me here, within the knowledge of my own desert, and this my hand against myself uprear, to guard the lawful reasons on my part. To leave poor me, thou hast the strength of laws, since why to love I can allege no cause. How heavy do I journey on the way, when what I seek, my weary travels end, doth teach that ease and that repose to say, thus far the miles are measured from thy friend. The beast that bears me, tired with my woe, plods dull on to bear that weight in me, as if by some instinct the wretched know, his rider loved not speed, being made from thee. The bloody spur cannot provoke him on, which sometimes anger thrusts into his hide, which heavily answers with a groan, more sharp to me than spurring to his side, for that same groan doth put this in my mind. My grief lies onward, and my joy behind. Thus can my love excuse the so offence of my bearer when from thee I speed? From where thou art, why should I haste me thence? Till I return, of posting is no need. Oh, what excuse will my poor beast then find, when swift extremity can seem but slow? Then should spur mounted on the wind, in wind speed no motion shall I know. Then can no horse with my desire keep pace. Therefore desire of perfect love being made, shall neigh, no dull flesh in his fire race, but love for love thus will excuse my jade. Since from me going he went wilful slow, towards thee I'll run, and give him leave to go. So am I as the rich, whose blessed key can bring him to his sweet unlocked treasure, the which he fine point of seldom pleasure. Therefore our feasts so solemn and so rare, since seldom coming in the long year set, like stones of worth they thinly place now, or Captain Jewels in the carcanet. So is it time that keeps you as my chest, or as the wardrobe which the robe doth hide, to make some special instant special blessed by new unfolding his imprisoned pride. Blessed are you, whose worthiness gives scope, being had, to triumph, being lacked, to hope. What is your substance? Whereof are you made, that millions of strange shadows on you tend? Since every one one shade, and but one can every shadow lend. Describe Adonis at the counterfeit is wholly imitated after you. On Helen's cheek all art of beauty set, and you in Grecian tile are painted new. Speak of the spring and foison of the year, the one the shadow of your beauty show, the other as your bounty doth appear. And you in every blessed shape we know. In all external grace you have some part, but you, like none you for constant heart. Oh, how much more doth beauteous seem by that sweet ornament which truth doth give. The rose looks fair, but fairer we it deem for that sweet odour which doth in it live. The canker blooms have full dye, as the perfumed tincture of the roses hang on such thorns and play as wantonly when sun's breath their masked buds discloseth. But for their virtue only is their show. They live unwooed and unrespected fame. Sweet roses do not so. Of their sweet deaths are sweetest odours made. And so of you, beauteous and lovely youth, when that shall fade, my verse distills your truth. Not marble, or the gilded monuments of princes shall outlive this powerful rhyme, but you shall shine more bright in these contents than unswept stone besmeared with sluggish time, when wasteful war shall statues overrun, and broils root out the work of masonry, nor mast sword nor war's quick fire shall burn the living record of your memory. Gains death, and all oblivious enmity shall you pace forth. Your praise shall still find room e'en in the eyes of all posterity that bear this world out to the ending doom So till the judgment that yourself rise, you live in this, and dwell in lovers' eyes. Sweet love, renew thy force, be not said, thy edge should blunter be than appetite. E'en but now by feeding is allayed, tomorrow sharpened in his full might. O love, be thou, although today thou fill thy hungry eyes, e'en till they wink with fullness, tomorrow see again, and do not kill the spirit of love with a perpetual dullness. Let this sad interim like the ocean be, which past the shore where two contracted new come be to the banks, that when they see return of love, more blessed may be the view. As call it winter, which, being full of care, makes summer's welcome thrice more wished, more rare. Being thy slave, what shall I do but tend upon the hours and times of your desire? I have no precious time at all to spend, nor services to do till you require. Nor dare I tie the world without end hours, I, my sovereign, watch the clock for you, nor think the bitterness of absence sour, when you have bid your servant once adieu. Nor dare I question with my jealous thought where you may be, or your affairs suppose, but like a sad slave stay, and think of naught, save where you are, how happy you make those. So true a fool is love, that in your will, though you do anything, he thinks no ill. God forbid that made me first your slave, I should in thought control your times of pleasure, or at your hand the count of hours crave, being your vassal, bound to stay your leisure. Oh, let me suffer, being at your beck, the imprisoned absence of your liberty, and patience tame to sufferance by each check, without accusing you of injury. Be where you list. Your charter is so strong that you yourself may privily join to what you will. To you not belong yourself to pardon, self-doing crime. I am to wait, though waiting so be hell. Not blame your play, be it ill or well. There be nothing new, but that which is, hath been before. How are our brains beguiled, which, labouring for invention, bear amiss the second burden of a former child? Oh, that record could with a backward look in of 500 courses after the sun show me your image in some antique book, since mine at first in character was done, that I might see what the old world could say to this composed wonder of your frame, whether we are mended or whether they, or the revolution be sane. Oh, sure I am, the wit's former days to subjects worse have given admiring praise. Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end, each taking place with that which goes before. In secret toil all forwards do contend. Nativity, once in the mean of light, crawls to maturity where we're being crowned. Crooked eclipses gainst his beauty fights, and time that gave but now his gift confound. Time doth transfix the flourish set on youth, and delves the parallels of beauty's brow, feeds on the rarities of nature's truth, and nothing stands before his scythe to mow. And yet I hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth, despite his cruel hand. Is it thy will thy image should keep open my heavy eyelids to the weary night, Dost thou desire my slumber should be broken, whilst shadows like to thee do mock my sight? Is it thy spirit that thou send'st from thee, so far from home, into my deed to pry, to find out aims and idle hours in me, the scope and tenure of thy jealousy? Oh no, thy love, though much, is not so great. It is my love that keeps mine eye awake, mine own true love that doth my rest defeat, to play the watchman ever for thy sake. For thee watch I, whilst thou dost wake elsewhere, from me far off, with others all too near. Sin of self-love possesseth all mine eye, and all my heart, and all my every part. Sin of self-love possesseth all mine eye, and all my soul, and all my every part. And for this sin there is no remedy, 'tis so grounded inward in my heart. Methinks no face so gracious is as mine, no shape so true, no truth of such account. And for myself mine own worth do define, as I all other in all worths not. But when my glass shows me myself indeed, beaten and chopped with hand antiquity, mine own self-love quite contrary I read. Self so self-loving were iniquity. 'Tis thee, myself, that for myself I praise, painting my age with beauty of thy days. Against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand crushed and a wall. When hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn hath travelled on to age's steepy night, all those beauties whereof now he's king are vanishing, or vanished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of his spring. For such a time do I here fortify against confounding age's cruel knife, that he may never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty, though my lover's life. His beauty shall in these black lines be seen, and they shall live, and they and he in them still green. When I have seen by time's fell hand defaced the rich proud past of outworn buried age, when sometime lofty towers I see down raised, and brass eternal slave to mortal rage, when I have seen the hungry ocean gain advantage on the kingdom of the shore, and the firm soil wind of the watery main, increasing store with loss and loss with store, when I have seen such interchange of state, or state itself confounded to decay, ruin hath taught me thus to ruminate. The time will come and take my love away. This thought is as a death, which cannot choose, but weep to have that which it fears to lose. Since brass, nor stone, nor earth, nor boundless sea, but sad mortality all stays their power, how with this age shall beauty hold a plea, whose action is no stronger the flower? Oh, how shall summer's honey breath hold out against the wrackful seed of battering days, when rocks impregnable are not so stout, nor gates of steel so strong, but time decays? O fearful meditation, where alack shall time's best jewel from time's test lie hid? Or what strong hand can hold his swift foot back? Or who the spoil of beauty can forbid? O none, unless this miracle have might, that in black ink my love may still shine bright. I will these for restful death I cry, as to behold desert, beggar born and needy nothing, trimmed in jollity and purest faith, unhappily forsworn, and gilded honour shamefully misplaced, and maiden virtue rudest trumpeted, and right perfection wrongfully disgraced, and strength by limping sway disabled, and art made tongue-tied by authority, and folly doctor-like controlling skill, and simple truth miscalled simplicity, and captive good attending captive ill, tired with all these. From these would I have gone, save that to die I leave my love alone. Ah, wherefore with infection she live, and with his presence grace in piety, that sin by him advantage should achieve, and lace itself with his society? Why should false painting imitate his cheek, and steal dead seeming of his living hue? Why should poor beauty indirectly seek roses of shadow, since his rose is true? Why should he live, now nature bankrupt is, beggared of blood to blush through lively veins? For she hath no exchequer now but his, and proud of many lives upon his gains. Though him she stalls to show what wealth she had in the long since, before these last so bad. Thus is his cheek the map of days outworn, when beauty lived and died as flowers do now. Before these bastard signs of fair were born, dust inhabit on a living bough, before the golden tresses of the dead, the rite of sepulchres, were shorn away, to live a second life on second head, beauty's dead fleece made another day. In him those holy antique hours are seen, that all ornament itself and true, making no summer of another's green, robbing no old to bless his beauty new. And him, as for a map of nature's store, to show false art what beauty was before. Those parts of thee that the world's eye doth view want nothing that the thought of heart commend. All tongues, the voice of souls, give thee that due, uttering their truth in so as foes commend. Thy outward thus with outward praise crowned, but those same tongues that give thee so thine own, in other accents do this praise confound, by seeing farther than the eye hath shown. They look into the beauty of thy might, and that, in guess, they measure by thy deeds. Then, Charles, their thoughts, although their eyes were kind, to thy fair flower add the rank smell of weeds. But why thy odour matcheth not thy show, the soil is this, that thou dost common grow. That thou be blamed shall not be thy defect, for slander's mark was ever yet the fair, the ornament of beauty is suspect, a crow that flies in heaven's sweetest air. So thou be good, slander doth but to prove thy worth, the great being rude of thine. For canker vice the sweetest bud of love, and thou present'st the pure, unstained prime. Thou hast passed by the ambush of young days, ere not ailed or victory in charge. If this thy praise cannot be so thy praise, to tie up envy evermore enlarged. If some suspect of ill masked not thy show, then thou alone kingdoms of hearts shouldst own. No longer mourn for me when I am dead, then you shall hear the surly sullen bell give warning to the world that I am fled from this vile world with vilest worms to dwell. Nay, if you read this line, remember not their hand that writ it, for I love you so that I in your sweet thoughts would be forgot, if thinking on me then should make you woe. Or if I say you look upon this verse, when I perhaps compound them with clay, do not so much as my poor name rehearse, but let your love eat with my life decay, lest the wise world should look into your moan and mock you with me after I am gone. Oh, lest the world should ask you to recite what merit lived in me that you should love after my death, dear love, forget quite, for you can nothing in me worthy prove, unless you would devise some virtuous lie to do more for me than mine own deserts, and hang more praise upon deceased eye than niggard truth willing impart. Oh, lest your true love may seem false in this, that you for love speak well of me untrue. My name be buried where my body is, and live no more to shame nor me nor you. For I am shamed by that which I bring forth. And so should you, to love things nothing worth. That time of year thou mayst in me behold, when yellow leaves, or none, or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold, bare, ruined choirs where late the sweet sang. Ne thou seest the twilight of such day, as after sunset fadeth in the west, which by and by black night doth take away, death's second self that seals up all in rest. In me thou seest the glowing of such fire, that on the ashes of his youth doth lie, as the deathbed whereon it must expire, doomed with that which was nourished by. This thou perceivest, which makes thy love more strong, to love that well which thou must leave ere long. But be contented when that fell arrest without all bale shall carry me away. My life hath in this line some interest, which for memorial still with thee shall stay. When thou reviewest this, thou dost review the very part was consecrate to thee. The earth can have but earth, which is due. My spirit is thine, the better part of me. So then thou hast but lost the dregs of life, the prey of worms, my body being dead, the coward conquest of a wretch's life. Too base of thee to be remembered. The worth of that is that it contains, and that is this, and this with thee remains. So are you to my thoughts as food to life, or as sweet seasoned flowers are to the ground. And for the peace of you I hold such strife, as twixt a miser and his wealth is found. Now proud as an enjoyer and anon, doubting the flinching age will steal his treasure, now thinking best to be with you alone, then bettered, the world may see my pleasure. Sometime all full with feasting on thy sight, and by all clean starved for a look, possessing or pursuing no delight, but what is had all must from you be took. Thus do I pine and surfeit day by day, or gluttoning all, or all away. Why is my verse so barren of new pride, so far from variation or quick change? Why with the time do I not glance aside to new-found methods and to compounds strange? Why write I still all one, ever the same? Why write I still all one, ever the same, and keep invention noted we, that every word doth almost tell my name, showing their birth and where they did proceed? Oh no, sweet love, I always write of you, and you and love are still my argument. All my best is dressing old words new, spending again what is already spent. For as sun is daily new and old, so is my love, still telling what is told. Thy glass will show thee how thy beauties wear, thy dial how thy precious minutes waste. The vacant leaves thy mind imprint will bear, and of this book, this learning mayst thou taste. The wrinkles which thy glass will truly show, of mouth that raves will give thee memory. Thou by thy dial's shady stealth mayst know time's thievish progress to eternity. Look, what thy memory cannot contain, commit to these waste blanks, and thou shalt find those to nurse, delivered from thy brain, to take a new conscience of thy mind. These offices, so oft as thou wilt look, shall profit thee, and much enrich thy book. And that is it. These are the first 77 sonnets by William Shakespeare. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Been amazingly patient and kind to sit here so attentively. We will be going to the pub sort of next door. There's the Malvern Tavern for drink to us. It will take us a few minutes to clean up here. I'm very, very happy and pleased to welcome Veronica from the charity, isn't it? From Arts for Dementia. Veronica is the founder of the charity we are collecting money for. So thank you so much for coming. I beg your pardon? Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Do stay for a chat if you can, but not in here because we'll have to vacate this room. But on the way out, there are some badges there. Help yourself. If you have cash you want to get rid of, you can put it in that plastic thing there. I don't have an actual hat. If you want to pay a donation by card or phone, you can. I've got a card reader here on my phone, such is technology. I know some of you have already donated online. You can also just simply go online and donate there. There is a little poster just as you leave the church. Outside on the right-hand side, there's a QR code there, or if you go to sonnetcast.com, there's the link to the Just Giving page. It all goes to Arts for Dementia, the beautiful charity that Veronica founded, and that does wonderful, wonderful work with people who live with dementia. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you all came today and sat through my rendition of the poems. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I shall thank Pat as well and Brian for that. Hello, very good to meet you.
How did you come to choose?
I wanted to do this event, and I thought, well, if I just do it for my own sake, then so on. And also wanted to benefit something. And dementia is close to my heart because my aunt is in a very advanced stage of dementia. She lives in France. She's from Switzerland, but she lives in France. And so I was looking for a charity to support, and I googled, and I want to support one of the very big charities, have a turnover of millions and who have hundreds of run every marathon.
It's very special of you to do that because fundraising is terrible. My brother is losing